know how to appreciate when a region gets hyped.
Oh, yeah.
France definitely deserves to be in that conversation. But right now, let's get ourselves to the action. Looks like players got themselves ready while we were talking.
Yeah, we got kagexice against Violet. Violet's new player to me. I'm unfamiliar, but already in winners quarters, rocking a Roy. Anytime I see Roy or Chrom in these brackets, I always got to think that maybe it's the Rivers influence, just because this particular event being partnered with Rivers, at least for the online portion of it. We've been seeing quite a bit of them, so I'm expecting to see maybe some fancy B reverse movements or something maybe. But Roy can be quite the character to deal with, even just dealing with what's. I ask Google this literally every time, but not Dancing Blade, but Roy.
Double-edged dance.
There it is. He knew. He always does. All right, so yeah, double-edged dance. Like that is a move that will kill you. It does not care what percent you're at, really. So it's that type of thing you have to look out for. You do kind of have to, I want to say, work for your kills still, despite all that. And wow. Speaking of working for your kills, no work there, but definitely still
I thought this started as a button check, and now it looks like they just rolled right into the match.
Yeah, buttons were good.
But yeah, buttons are fine. All good.
I'm pressing them all. They all work.
They all work. Anyways, Ubel, you're welcome to jump in, man.
Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off. You were on a roll.
No, I'm really not. You do your thing. I'm just here.
Hey, listen, we can rock a tri-cast. We can do it.
Yeah, that's hype.
Yeah, I mean, I do something. Yeah, I do like something. Sometimes it's fun. I actually was going to make a 3-man overlay for this forever ago. I just never did.
It's definitely worth it, especially when you consider like how close you and James are. You know more about Chrom and Roy than you want to give yourself credit for, and honestly, most people. Like, in spite of the popularity that Roy and Chrom show, there is a lot of finesse behind their buttons. There is more to it than just silly damage output. But in the realm of silly, hero is king.
Yeah, it's kind of the character's claim to fame, and maybe not fame's the right word. Infamy may be more accurate.
Definitely more accurate.
The shenanigans this character can pull off, but it's so like innately tied together with the fact that you can't really haphazardly go about your game plan like Roy and Chrom can do. They're not fast, their buttons aren't especially quick, but they do a phenomenal job at always making you, like, always forcing you to react on the fly. And that's where Hero can be very powerful.
Oh, because Swoosh got him back. Okay, cool. That's one thing I wish I was better at, is knowing the names of all of the spells that Hero has.
Oh, baby, spell names.
No, I know. You know what's funny is lately I've been playing a lot of Hero myself to familiarize myself with how a lot of his kit works, because in spite of how many tools he has, there's actually a pretty strict sense of cohesion behind all of the spells.
Yeah, everything kind of innately flows in such a way that it's, I mean, he's built like an RPG character, right? His attacks are there for quick damage and quick, or maybe not so much quick, but instant pressure and instant aggression, but it's the menu that really provides you with all of your technicality, and fully utilizing something like that takes time and, well, perhaps a quick reading comprehension that some people just have or don't have, which sucks, but it is very rewarding once you're able to chain things together in, oh no.
Oh, unfortunate. Talking about chaining stuff together. Alright.
Yeah, that's, hate to see it.
That is one of the banes of Roy, is he can't really do much with mid to long pressure, so having to deal with his buttons gets kind of messy kind of quickly. In regards to like Hero's more distance options, and not even like the menu select projectiles, even stuff just like side B and neutral B can get problematic really quickly for Roy. And if he can't break zone on them and isn't able to lock down Hero, playing at the ledge just gets really rough for him pretty quickly. But it's definitely a matchup where Roy's overwhelming speed can eventually weather the storm. It does take a matter of just being on top of Hero's mana supply, and also making sure that Hero doesn't just go for trades, because Hero recovering mana as he hits you and grabs you and whatnot does make fighting him on the resource management end very scary.
Yeah, particularly with how hero players will adapt their level 1 and level 2 spells of Zapple, and Frizz and Frizzle, because those natively are just so much quicker. And if hero has the right buffs on, like Accelerado, the level 1 Fireball can combo into things like back air or forward air, and suddenly hero just has so much momentum going for him at the cost of just a simple button press.
Game 2 is showing us that Violet's bringing out a different swordsman to fight this hero. Ike is the choice, and I'll be honest with you, Google, I'm not the biggest fan of this pick. Oh, okay, Snooze almost leads to early demise. But I feel like Ike's size and speed leaves him very limited for combating not just the array of projectiles that hero has to offer. Sick. Hatchet Man, that's getting the kill from out deep.
Hurtbox shifting, you gotta love to see it. Just, you come down with the button and he leans all the way back before swinging in.
Yeah, no. Hero hits that whip so hard when it's time to actually strike.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no, he really hits the base boost with it.
But I completely agree, right? Because you trade in... Like, Ike still has some decent airspeed, but you're trading in the incredible initial dash and run speed of Roy for a more linear approach option. Perhaps a better juggle game with a bigger sword, but you're sacrificing perhaps what, at least in my opinion, a little bit too much. And at a deficit like this, now Cage can start to really... Okay, forward air hitting ledge. We like to see it.
Yeah, no. Ike at the ledge is actually where he's going to be the most in control against hero here. And I feel like there's a lot of things that kagexice can be doing to like not be locked down at the ledge. Accelerado definitely high on that list. Abusive zoom, but even one thing that we've seen consistently from using Moosh out of shield or just out of disadvantage in general is a pretty hard break to return to neutral.
And the added platform layouts, I mean, it's part of the reason that hero bans FD. Whooshing 2 platforms and comboing into things like prominent anti-airs like up tilt really add this extra dimension of defense to hero's rather sluggish kit. And it's those kind of spells and the activity on Kaboom when you pull it that transform the character from just slower swordsman to a real threat.
Like, there's just so many little ways that this matchup goes awry for Ike that I feel like it culminates ultimately in a matchup that I would argue is more favored towards hero. Because the only place that Ike keeps to pace with his own game plan is the fact that he has harder hitting buttons. They're equally slow, but you can't even really remark that Ike's damage output makes for a smarter decision, at least in comparison to Roy. Because right now we're seeing Violet's at least keeping even, but fighting from a heavy deficit as Ike is not a situation you often find.
With Oomph on deck, you're really going to start to feel the pressure on that deficit. The back end of up tilt just not enough. And out of range for the second Hatchet Man of the set, which leads to quite the big punish. I like the more non-linear style of approach that that Violet has started to enact in this latter half of this game. He's coming in from more diagonal stretches and really looking for the high reward starters that Ike can go for, but not just throwing them out haphazardly. This will be big. No down air. Okay.
Yeah, Psych up tilt definitely gonna do it. Like, Psych up itself is a remarkable modifier, but up tilt, people sleep on that button. People need to pay attention that Hero's tilts actually some of the more devastating moves in his kit. Like, beyond all of the flash and dazzle of the 30 some odd things he can do out of menu selects, and, you know, to say nothing out of his 9 specials and beyond that, down tilt is a remarkable button, and up tilt is ridiculous in having synergy to the rest of his kit.
Yeah, up tilt basically replaces up smash when you have things like Psych Up and Oomph on deck, of which the buffs, the status augmentation spells, the buffs, are more likely to appear on the menu in the first place. So you're almost always going to have something like Oomph or Psych Up ready and willing at your disposal. But up tilt, just covering that whole area, covering the whole platform. Down tilt, as you mentioned, a really safe poke. And we can't sleep on the F tilt Rekkas, just blocking an attack and a really wide forward smash afterwards, which you don't need to swing with just a strong forward smash to break shields if you have Oomph and Psych Up. F tilt 1-2 will do the same thing.